Cooking gas or liquefied petroleum gas (LPG) is undoubtedly an essential commodity for millions of Nigerian households and businesses. Over the years, it has become the preferred cooking fuel due to the advantages it overwhelmingly poses over and above other means. However, the price of cooking gas in Nigeria has been through significant fluctuations due to a couple of factors. But the notable price reduction recently from 17,000 naira for a 12 kg cylinder to 13 or 14,000 naira is a huge source of relief to consumers. What is responsible for this drop? And how would it affect the generality of businesses as well as homes in Nigeria? Any hope for sustainability? Well, our guests will educate us further shortly. Thanks for joining us on Nigeria Today. I am Eucharia Clinton. Now, with me in the studio is Olabode Shomi. He's an energy expert and also a public affairs analyst. You're welcome to Nigeria Today.
Thank you. Good evening.
Also with us here in the studio is the National Publicity Secretary of IPMAN, Ukadike Chinedu. It's a pleasure to have you in Nigeria today.
Good evening. Good evening, Nigerians.
I'll start with you, Ukadike. The sudden drop of price in cooking gas. Of course, you know that Nigerians are really happy about the reduction. So can you tell us what are some of the factors that led to this particular reduction?
You see, there is a kind of turnaround in our economy. The naira is threatening against the dollar every blessed day. That one is the most significant aspect of it. Once the naira is gaining grounds, once the value of naira is appreciating and the dollar is going down, it means that the economy is fast recovering. And anytime you see the naira depreciate, the economy is also depreciating. So the cooking gas, which is LPG, which is liquefied natural gas, or which everybody call gas, is a domestic use product. And because of the usage of also trying to bring in the usage of cooking gas into our homes, into Nigerian use, made the federal government and the NNDPR to encourage with independent marketers to put an add-on in our filling stations. So it will be now easier for distribution because the independent marketer provides the most strategic locations and equipment for distribution of this LPG. And commonly now LPG is being used in our homes, and immediately conversions started. People started converting their generator to LPG with a converter because it was cheaper and it even lasts longer, and the emission system is slower, it's less hazardous to the society. So it was being encouraged. So you can see we will now put some skid, tanks in our system to be able to dispense this LPG. And the pressure on PMS, became a little bit less. It helped on the economy because then we are bedridden with importation of petroleum products, which is actually where most of our 90% forex, is being deposited. And that continued to make the economy shrink at that particular point in time. So the introduction of that LPG lessened the importation consumption of premium metal spirits. Yep. And premium metal spirits, as at that time, was almost being consumed 90 to 95 million liters, every month. But with the introduction of this LPG and CNG, you will now find out that people now tend to use LPG than fuel in their generators, especially those who are doing commercial these things and all the rest of them. So That is the most important thing about this, the introduction of LPG. Now, we're now coming to the deregulation period. Okay. So nothing like subsidy again. So the factors of demand and supply determines price. So if the dollar is going down and by special grace of God, maybe the dollar will get to 1,200, I bet you get a 12.5 kg of the LPG for like 10,000. It will revert back to its usual consumption rate. And I bet you 70% of generators and other equipments will convert to LPG.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, Olabode, he mentioned something, people using LPG for the generators. I don't know, is it, looking at what is going on now, is it, well, how will I put it now? Is it the right thing to do? Because I know it's a CNG, but the LPG for generators and maybe the vehicles.
Okay, so CNG, LPG, LNG are just various forms of natural gas. So the word is liquefied petroleum gas, which is basically a simplified name for a couple of gases which are mixed to ensure that it doesn't have an explosion and all that. The word LNG is natural gas, but just in liquefied form. So it is even possible that the components of CNG can actually be the same components of LPG. The difference is that CNG is compressed. Okay. But it's not necessarily that, but that is possible. So the point I'm trying to make is that look at it like water. Water is water. You have some stream water. It's different from swimming pool water. It's different from the water in pure water. It's different from the one that comes out from the tap. But they're invariably various variants of water. So the mixtures that they have and the components that they are put is dependent on the functions for which the gas is intended.
So is it not dangerous to use the LPG, which is, of course, we know as a cooking gas, as against the CNG for, our generators and our cars?
No, scientifically, no.
Oh, okay.
Maybe in terms of rumors and skits and videos on social media, they can come up with anything. But in terms of science, no. Okay. So you have to look at the flashpoint. You have to look at the truth is that the way the modern car and the modern what you call the internal combustion system, which is what exists in a generator, exists in a car, or the way it is function, there's a lot of safety measures in it. So all the safety issues is not really the issues. For me, just like a little to what the publicity secretary alluded to, the biggest challenge we have will do more with infrastructure of the supply chain. How much availability for the last mile, where the rubber touches the road, how much availability does the end user have, and then how much gas is actually available. You see, yes, we are a gas nation, and we have this so much gas, but what people don't realize is that there's a difference between the gas that is under the ground and the gas that we use by a number of things. It's like the difference between the water in the ocean or the water in the river and the water that you drink. So yes, so they need to be processed, they need to be dug, so there's upstream activities, there's midstream activities, before you now have the downstream activities that happen. So the supply chain needs to be developed. One of the reasons why petrol is not an issue is that the supply chain for petrol has been developed over the last 70 years. There's no local government that you won't find 3 to 5 petrol stations, but you may not find gas stations.
So before you go down on that, now tell us, what are some of the factors? Because we're talking about this reduction now, and of course I know a lot of Nigerians will want that to even go further lower, of course sustain the lower price. Now, what are some of the factors that probably we've not really mentioned here that could also have led to the reduction of the price of liquefied natural gas?
I think, based on what he has said, one of the, and what has always been the issue in the last 3 to 5 years, the biggest determinant of price is the exchange rate. It's not importation or exportation. Yes, there's a lot of attention paid into it for political reasons, for interest of other players and all that. But when the brass tacks come to it, and you convert it to the dollar, you will see that there isn't too much in terms of the difference 5 years ago and what you are doing. And I use this example. In 2005, August, I took a trip to Gothenburg, which is northeastern Sweden, the home of Volvo, the headquarters of Volvo. That trip cost about $1,400. I took that same trip last year. It was, at that time, it was like 195,000, less than 200,000 shares. But I took that same trip last year, was over 2 million, but it was still $1,400. So the difference is not that there was any increase per se, it was just the Naira issue. So when you now bring those factors to a lot of the things that affect our daily life, you'll be able to put things in perspective, because a lot of things that people put as pressure on the industry are actually things they're actually macro and microeconomic issues and not really industry issues.
Okay, now back to you, Kadike. How are the marketers taking this reduction in price? And of course, what kind of response are you getting from the consumers?
Well, I would say the response is positive because the consumption or the usage rate now has increased. The behavioral attitude of our customers now is more friendly.
Of course.
Yes, more friendly, and the volume now becomes very, very appreciative. And you will understand with me that when the prices of this petroleum product is cheaper, our customers, come to the filling stations frequently, and they're taking higher volumes, because now they can decide in their own luxury cars or fleet of cars, do long trips. Most of the barbing salon that normally use PMS and dumped it for LPG have also think about going back to LPG, because LPG will last longer, and in terms of security, in terms of security, they prefer it because it is easier for you to go with your 12.5 kg to a gas plant and get it filled. And once you bring it to your place, you can monitor it. Nobody will come and suck it from your tank or from the bottle, or nobody will come and say he's going to take something.
So they carry the cylinder.
Yeah, so it is easier for those who are doing this kind of business, this little entrepreneur business, to be able to monitor the usage of than PMS. You understand me? So they prefer using LPG than PMS in terms of running their local business. Now, for we the independent marketers, once there is decrease in price, we witness supply frequency. That means we can go to the refineries and depots and get this more product. And there is also serious heavy turnaround and return on investment. We are happy. Independent marketers, we are happy when prices are down. We sell. We can finish a truck of PMS in 2 weeks, sometimes 1 month, depending on the strategic location of your filling stations. But when the price is so high, you know that you can't buy more than 5,000 Naira liters of oil. But when the price is low, you can tell them to fill your tank, because with 7,000, 10,000, your tank can be filled. So you see the consumer behavior becomes more liberal and friendly.
Now, with the factors you named earlier that could lead to the reduction in price, of course, do you see the price of gas? I'm talking about LPG now. Do you see the price going further lower than what it is right now?
There is a serious revolution in terms of crude oil supply, in terms of the international oil and gas politics. And what Trump is doing with American crude oil and gas and all the rest of them, trying to sell and storing, it has fidgeted a lot of other OPEC producing countries to be able to see how faster they can be able to, sell their gas. And the crude oil is going down from 80-something Naira, 89 Naira, is going to almost to 71. So once the crude oil continues dwindling, we will be smiling. And I also believe that it will increase industrialization. And the IOCs who are interested in investing in Nigeria because of this liberalization of the industry, these deregulations, more companies are coming in. Dangote is there, Boy is on the way, Aradel is there, Water and Smith is there. So government interference have gone. You understand? You will now see that even the behavioral attitude of the filling stations have changed. The NNPC, where you normally used to queue to go and get your fuel, is free. You can go in there. They are even selling more higher than with the independent marketers. So you see, things are changing. And I also believe that if we stick religiously and this implementation policy is guided vehemently, I think this country will get to a better place.
Thank you very much. That was Ukadike Chinedu, National Publicity Secretary, IPMAN. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us.
I appreciate it.
Okay, I will take a short break now. The conversation will continue after the break. Don't go away.
The implementation of the ruling is also dependent on another aspect or another arm of government.
Nowhere in the world will allow under digital economy for banks not to be dispensing domestic currency in that economy.
What will make this one different?
We want to know what they do as occupation. All of these are attributes that are questions have been designed to investigate.
In a few days to come, you see that we are all around their own crannies and everywhere in Nigeria, telling people to cooperate.
Welcome to Nigeria Today. Welcome back. This is still Nigeria Today, and we're looking at the reduction in price of cooking gas. And of course, I have Shomi Olabode here with me in the studio, and of course, the National Publicity Secretary, Chinedu Ukadike, National Publicity Secretary of IPMAN, was here with us and just left us shortly. So, Olabode, like before, of course, Chinedu left, he talked about certain factors, that has led to these significant reduction. Of course, we had just recently we were buying 17,000 naira for 12 kg cylinder, and now it's 13,000 or even 14,000 naira. You're talking about a 3,000 to 4,000 naira difference, which of course every Nigerian using gas will say, this one is very, very significant. Now, tell us, what do you think should be done more to have more of this kind of reduction? Because we see even reduction in fuel and all of that.
Okay, so everything that has a cost has factors that are responsible for that cost. So if today yam is selling for 50 naira per tuber, or 500 naira per tuber, or 50,000 naira, or whatever price, the transport of it from the farm is a cost. How much the farmer aggregates as the cost of his labor for him to grow that thing is a cost. The cost of fertilizer and all that. So all those things. So you want to look at those factors that determine the cost, and then attack those factors that are most significant in terms of the final price. Just like he also said, the exchange rate to the dollar is a key factor. And if the policies that have been set up by the government, which has allowed for competition, fair competition continues, then these things will go. Because it's not only in the power sector. I'm sorry, it's not only in this sector. It is also in other economic sectors. So we are running pari passu with competitive and what you call difficult times.
No, he mentioned the international, prices, what is happening in the international front. So how is that affecting our own, gas price? So
what you expect is that, given the uncertainties with respect to the directions of the U.S. President Trump, with respect to oil and gas, signifying that they should drill more, and the likelihood that sanctions may be lifted on Russia after there is a peace agreement with Ukraine, it means that there will be changes to the price of crude. changes to the price of crude also means changes to the price of gas because they're interlinked, they're sisters. So, and Russia is a significant global provider of crude oil and gas. So it is those factors, the interplay of those factors, which is also basically the interplay of demand and supply, how they push and pull each other, will ultimately affect the global price. And the global price will ultimately affect our own price.
So, in other words, okay, apart from these international factors, the internal factors, we should also see what we can do to ensure that we don't have a reverse to the higher price. Is that what you're saying from what you just explained earlier?
So, like I said, the internal factors are some of the factors that are outside our control. I mean, it's not, I mean, people can say that the government should peg the exchange rate. I mean, that's a debate that's gone on for long, but the government has floated the Naira. So the factors of the Naira is not really within our control. So it is that we continue to push the policies of government in such a way that it leads to reduction in price. So the Naira has appreciated in the last couple of days or weeks, and we expect it to continue to appreciate. So the dream will be that it appreciates to like maybe 900 Naira to the dollar. And that will necessarily reflect in everything. And because things are now competitive, it's no longer the price has increased, they need to reduce government subsidy. No, because things are competitive. The person that gets the lower price reduces his own price so that he can get more customers. As he gets more customers, there's a flood to his own petrol station. So the other person takes a cue that, do I want to be a Shylock that has limited customer, or do I want to get good turnover and have something interesting as my turnover as well? So those are decisions of a free market, and I believe that those things interplaying well will ensure that quickly, as things are reflected in the market, is also reflected in our own cost prices.
Okay, now how will this, now, you know, generally we are pushing for cleaner energy and of course reduction in carbon emission. How will this reduction in price, you know, affect this push for cleaner energy?
I'm not sure it will have any impact because our usage is, we are not one of the big users, either globally or even locally. So yes, we do, there may be more people using it, but in terms of effects in the atmosphere, I'm not sure it will have any effect. It's not within the aggregate volumes that will cause what they call it, global warming. We are not yet in that kind of volumes yet.
Thank you very much, Labode Showobi, an energy expert and also a public affairs analyst. Thank you for your thoughts and your contribution.
The pleasure is mine.
And thank you for being part of the program. Remember, Nigeria Today airs every weekday at 7:30 p.m. on NTA News 24. You can also check out this episode and others on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. Once again, thank you for being there. I am Victoria Clinton. Goodbye.